Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
And hello, look at that. We both came on simultaneously.
Yeah, a little slow on the uptick there. Good evening and Wednesday, RVing in New England. Hello, everybody. And we got a fun show for you tonight. A lot of different things that are coming about. And I see we got a few early risers. Charlie Butler, anyone home? We're here, Charlie. I like to delay it till we get a couple of people in the studio audience. So I've been doing that lately. Tim's RV. I am something and relaxing. Can you see what that says?
I don't know what it is.
On.
Eating?
I see time to enjoy. Maybe he's eating. I don't know. I don't know what he's done. But let us first go to our great sponsor. I think we'll do the TV commercial.
Hey, it's Joe from 1019 POR and John, Joe, and Courtney. We're back for another exciting season of Seacoast RV TV. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter W.
As in Winnebago. Did you know that Seacoast RV is once again the award winner of the Flying W Award, which recognizes Winnebago dealer locations that deliver the highest service excellence and superior customer satisfaction? Don't mean to brag, but we're kind of a big deal. Speaking of Winnebagos, how about the Winnebago Access? Come on inside and take a look around. Modern and spacious interior, easier camp setup with all the deluxe features and an outstanding value? You get it all with the Winnebago Access. You know, with so many different models to choose from, though, it can get so scary and confusing. I feel like I need some help.
Hi, I'm Amanda. Welcome to Seacoast RV. How can I help you today?
Selection, service center, and a huge parts and accessory department. No wonder Seacoast RV is once again Winnebago's Flying W Award winner, their highest honor. Find the perfect RV or towable for you and your family with one stop, Seacoast RV. Easy to find, Route 1 in Saco.
Seacoast RV.
I'm Jackson.
They certainly have a lot of fun up there. That's for sure.
They do.
And they are a great sponsor. That's for sure.
And nice, friendly people.
That's right.
Did you hear? Did Kenny come back from his big safari with any trophies?
He came back. He didn't mention. I'm not sure if he took any trophies.
He didn't add to that wall.
Yeah, you see him all over. It's really. I tell you, if you folks haven't been up there to Seacoast RV, to their parts and accessory store, it's like going to LL Bean or Cabela's. Not all of them, but many of Kenny's trophies from his wild game hunting all around the world are up on the wall, and he's got a house full of them too, and he's got some more in his garage. So I tell you, if you made him a good offer on one of them, he might just take it off the wall and sell it. I don't know.
Then you can put your own name on it.
Yeah, tell everybody that you shot it up in the Yukon.
And you know what? How are they going to ever check?
No, not so.
They'll do a DNA test on them and see what happens.
Right.
What happens. So we got a theme tonight. We need our audience tonight. We need to
you
tell us where you, yeah, that's you sitting at the kitchen table. That's you still eating. Where are you planning on heading this summer? Because you know what? So many times people have gotten ideas on where to go for their vacation based upon where someone else has gone for their vacation. So we need you to tell us. Let's see if Audrey's on tonight. She can tell us about the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, she could tell us about the whole summer traveling with her crowd. Yeah.
Where she's going. But
while they put those in, let me take a step back, because something very interesting happened last week. And why isn't my mouse working? Oh, there you go. So if you remember, last week we did the tribute to Chris Doherty, and we knew Chris was popular, and we knew that everybody in the country knew him.
It was more like a eulogy, though. It wasn't a tribute. It was like a eulogy.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it that.
I expected to see his obit on Thursday morning.
Right, but here we are 7 days later. There have already been 15,300 views of that show. And I think that breaks our record. I think Austin Clark at 13,300 was our previous record. And Chris could go 20,000 by the end of the week. And
if he stays up all night and keeps hitting that replay button, I'm sure he might be able to get close to it.
No, that doesn't count. No, that doesn't count. He has to. They know who he is. But congratulations to Chris, and if
they can mess with voting machines, they can mess with YouTube.
Well, that's true, but I don't know if it's Dominion software. So we'll have to see who's running the tally. But I can tell you this: the folks over at RVTI are ecstatic, and they're certainly going to be using that in some of their promotions. And
well, and as well they should, because the thing is this that people need to understand is that RVTI is not a booklet, it is not a pamphlet, it is not a brochure, it is not an audio tape or videotape. It's people like Chris that are real live people that they're your neighbors, they're your friends, and they're the people that might be camped next door to you. So if there are people that that are handy with their RV, you kind of have an obligation to let them know about these programs, because they're, number one, they're inexpensive, but they're written by people who've actually done the work. And that's important.
Yeah, and they're catching on nationwide. Down in Texas, there's a dealer called Funtown RV that has, I think, 10 or 11 dealerships. Of
course, yeah.
And they just made a $250,000 donation to Navarro College, which is a technical college down the Fort Worth area, for the development of an RV technical training course. Now, there's a lot of other business partners in on this, and Navarro is a well-established technical college. In fact, one of their most famous courses is a John Deere tractor training course for farmers and for people who sell the tractors. So they're going to base it on that model. And level 1 and 2 will be done through the RVTI courses. Level 3 and 4 will be done through Lippert's advanced trainings that they have done and made available through RVTI. So that's a significant thing. I think we'll see more of that around the country, because
one of the things. Go ahead, finish that thought.
Yeah, there was no strings attached. This donation is to the school, and it is open to that training course, when it's developed, will be open to anybody in the RV industry, including all of his competitors. It's a joint effort to build up more RV technicians around the country.
Yeah, and I think in this past year, with this college loan forgiveness and COVID and people not going to traditional four-year colleges to major in Latin classics and English literature, people are starting to take a look and say, wait a minute, I can either go to a technical school, for example, right here in Worcester Technical High School. Okay. They got kids that don't go to college because they do, internships with electricians, and they're making $40 an hour, in the summer between junior and senior year. So why would you turn down $40 an hour when you're 19 years old to put it back 4 years before you're earning anything? But more importantly, paying $60 or $70 to $75, $80,000 a year.
Yep.
And, and plus, when the leaders of Harvard and Penn, and who was the other school that made a fool of themselves on national TV?
Princeton. Yep.
These people that are running these
MIT, they got their share of stupidity out there too.
Okay. And I'll say this, and I went to a 4-year school, and I have a master's degree and all that other stuff. But the reality is, a lot of the people that run these educational institutions, they're dumber than dirt. And the fact that their presidents went on, national or international TV and had that attitude, it got a lot of people saying, "The hell with you." And look, I know whenever that took place, like in January, February, in March, I was down in Florida and bumped into some people that I went to the same high school with that were Harvard grads. And I asked them what he thought. And he was on the faculty of Harvard Medical School, certainly one of the more respected medical schools. And he said, "Well, I'm quitting after this semester. And none of my colleagues and my friends that went to Harvard with me as undergrads, we're not going to give any money to this place anymore because they got idiots leading the charge." So what Fun Time did was pretty intelligent. They got somebody to teach the courses for them, with an accredited background, RVTI and Lippert, the leaders in the industry, and all they had to do was pay $250,000, and they'll get help from it. So Mark and Julie Bennett, I don't know if you agree with that, but you've been all over the country, and
Mark and Julie just pumped in, yeah.
Here's the question you want to ask yourself. If you go to a technical school, you start at the basic level. It doesn't mean you're going to be at that basic level your whole life. So take RVTI, for example. You go in, you get accredited level 1, level 2, level 3, whatever it is. Okay. What the question was, is a 4-year traditional college still worth it today when you can go to a technical school, be making good money? That was a question, Mark and Julie. But here's my point. And I had an electrician tell me this. He said, after you've been doing this for 20, 25 years, you can't climb ladders, you can't bend down, you can't, plumbers and electricians. But then you find young people to do the work for you, and then you become a manager. So you go to an RVTI school, you get your accreditation, you get your foot in the door at an RV dealership or service company, and then you work your way up. Doesn't mean you're going to stay turning wrenches your whole life. So keep that in mind, folks.
So look at, I don't see many comments on vacations, but I know that you are going on a vacation. So do you want to talk about yours first? And that might prompt some people to
sure
jump in.
This past winter, we had an opportunity to take some long distance trips down to Florida a couple times, and we were going for 6 weeks. So this summer, I'm just not up for 6 weeks on the road. So we have a house at the Cape. We spend a lot of time there, but we're going up to Canada. We have some friends that are in an athletic competition just outside of Niagara Falls. So through Ben Quiggle, we found out who the people were from the Canadian RV Association, RV and Camping Association. And her name is Cara Sismadia. And we had an opportunity to speak with her today about going to Canada. Hey, everybody, we're talking about what to do. RVing in New England, what to do. Well, one of the cool things that you can do because of our proximity to Canada is jump in your RV, have your passport with you, and head up to our neighbors from the north in Canada. And we're talking with the president of the Canadian Camping and RV Association, Cara Sismadia. And Cara, welcome to RVing in New England.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Now, I know that you know the entire campground scene from British Columbia to, I wonder if I could ever, British Columbia, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. I might not be right, but for our purposes, why don't we just say Quebec, Nova Scotia, and Ontario as places that would immediately come to mind that New Englanders could hop up in for a long weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some incredible options in all of those places. We've got, beautiful parks in New Brunswick, in the Hopewell Rocks areas. Nova Scotia, obviously, cannot beat some of the incredible kind of oceanfront options there. I know it's a little bit further to get there.
But they got the ferry now. They got the ferry from Maine. 3 hours, you're over there. The high speed,
Super easy.
ferry.
High speed, yeah. And then Quebec, Quebec actually has the highest number of campgrounds of any Canadian province, and they have done a really great job of fostering good, strong industry representation and vetting parks and ensuring, a great level of guest experience in their member campgrounds that cannot be beat. It's a stunning, beautiful area of the country. Obviously, a lot of ground to cover. Quebec's a big place, but the scenery is incredible. There's some beautiful campgrounds up there. Obviously, there's some bilingual components, but I can, every campground I've visited in Quebec, we can easily communicate in English, so no concerns there.
And one of the things that I think is important for people from New England to understand is that the exchange rate is very favorable to Americans heading north. What's your latest understanding as to what the rate might be?
When I saw this morning, I believe it was around 72 cents. So, your dollar gets you about $1.28, $1.30 worth in Canadian currency, which obviously is a great opportunity for visitors from the States to make their experiences, make their dollar go a little further on their trips.
Okay. How about a website that people can take a look?
Yeah, visit gorving.ca. That is Go RVing Canada. They've got some incredible resources, trip planning tools, all kinds of RV information, lots of fun blog content, trip lifestyle stuff, cool camping recipes, all kinds of great stuff for campers to check out specific to Canada, as well as the opportunity to really dial in which campgrounds you want to visit. They've got the opportunity also to see local attractions and other things in the regions that those campgrounds are located. So really great resource there.
Okay. One final question, and this is the most important one of all because a lot of people are hesitant to go to Canada because of this. I've heard that the border crossings in Niagara Falls, in Vermont, that when you go there, that you have to sing "Oh Canada." Is there truth to that rumor?
I will say I've never had to experience that. I've only crossed through there a handful of times, but I don't know if I get a pass because I'm born in Canada. But I encourage you to brush up on the song either way. Learn the anthem just in case.
Just in case. Karis, Ismadia, thank you so much. And from New England to Canada, it's an easy trip and maybe somewhere you should consider this summer. Let's go back to our show.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a very popular place. And with that ferry, I've been posting a couple of discount coupons. They have started discounting earlier this year, and I think they're still struggling for the kind of traffic that they would like to have. It is an expensive process, but the discounts and the bonus trips. Yeah.
Yep. You go right up to Bar Harbor.
Yep.
And get on it. We talked to some people a couple of years ago that were on it. Forget what the amount is. I think it's like $200-300. But when you figure you're there in 3 hours versus that whole trip around, another 100 miles in the U.S. before you get up to Bangor. Up to what's this crossing? North of Bangor, Houlton, Maine.
Houlton, yeah.
Houlton, Maine.
Right at the end of Route 1 there. And there's Fort Pierce up there also. It's near Presque Isle. Yeah, Houlton is one. Let's jump on here for a little bit. I'm going to start at the bottom. Walt Burns says, vacations you two have a harvest host property in New England that you'd recommend.
I got two.
You got two. Go.
I got two. So, Walter, one of them is a place that we visited during one of the COVID summers where we couldn't get into Canada, but we went way up there into Newport, Vermont, and it's called a lavender farm. I forget the exact name of it, but it's a lavender farm where you sit up on top of a mountain. And even in the summertime, they had this giant windmill up there, and you can look over and see Vermont and New Hampshire and Canada if you look in three separate directions. That was pretty cool. And then there are a ton of breweries and wineries in New England. So all you have to do is be a Harvest Host member, and then you can go to the directory. So you know,
Yeah,
that's
and
pretty cool.
we can chase out a few more for him.
Yeah.
Tim says, I always vacation in Elkhart, Indiana. He does. That's a truism. He takes the biggest truck he can find or rent, and he goes out to Elkhart, and he makes these incredible deals on leftover inventory, spare parts. And, we talked oftentimes about Tim and the great products he sells. He's got the Intech RVs, he's got the Oliver trailers, and he's got those new Soaring Eagle truck campers that are lightweight and affordable. So he's picked up his game on new inventory, but he's got a warehouse up there. If you ever need a part like an extra refrigerator or an awning or a heater, give Tim a call first and let him see what he's got out in the warehouse. You're going to find some incredible bargains because he takes it off the hands of the OEMs or the supplier manufacturers who are getting ready for the next year's production or the newest model, and they just want to clear the warehouse. So Tim's brilliant in his vacationing because he goes out there, has a great time, and comes back with a truckload of stuff that he's going to make a lot of money on. But he's going to save you a lot of money on.
Oh, absolutely. He gets all those rarities.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Rarities. And,
what was the question? You already answered that, didn't you?
yeah, that was the one about going to college and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you go back down to Walter Burns, Lavender Farm, checking it out tonight, then the breweries. There's another one in Booth Bay. I think it's called Booth Bay Harbor Brewery.
Yeah, I think it's Booth Bay Brewery. That's a very popular one.
Yeah, yeah.
Just off the highway and kind of halfway before you get to Booth Bay. Yep.
Yeah, they got real good food there. I remember they had pizza cooked over a wooden stove. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think Tim is right. Lavender Essentials. That sounds about right.
Yeah, and don't forget, New England's kind of big, so you should start by telling us where you want to go. I don't think you're going to try to hit all 6 New England states. Maine is beautiful. New Hampshire is beautiful. Vermont. You tell us where you're going to go, and we'll do some homework for you here.
For your travel guys.
Right. Yeah. Let us take care of that stuff for you. And I don't like my mouse tonight. Let me do something else because they're slow coming in with the thing. I wanted to save a special announcement for you tonight. It happened about a week ago, but we chose not to make any announcements from NERVDA.
Why don't you do that right? Why don't you do what they do on TV and say, we'll be back with that announcement right after this message from Seacoast RV.
Oh, you just said that. So if that's a good intro. So where is it?
Hey, run the same one. People who didn't see it. Go ahead, run the video.
Yeah, I like that video. And now that we're into them, then we'll come back with a blockbuster announcement. Is that the right way to say it, John?
Yeah. I want to call it that.
Hey, it's Joe from 1019 POR and John, Joe, and Courtney. We're back for another exciting season of Seacoast RV TV. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter W.
As in Winnebago. Did you know that Seacoast RV is once again the award winner of the Flying W Award, which recognizes Winnebago dealer locations that deliver the highest service excellence and superior customer satisfaction? Don't mean to brag, but we're kind of a big deal. Speaking of Winnebagos, how about the Winnebago Access? Come on inside and take a look around. Modern and spacious interior, easier camp setup with all the deluxe features and an outstanding value? You get it all with the Winnebago Access. You know, with so many different models to choose from, though, it can get so scary and confusing. I feel like I need some help.
Hi, I'm Amanda. Welcome to Seacoast RV. How can I help you today?
Selection, service center, and a huge parts and accessory department. No wonder Seacoast RV is once again Winnebago's Flying W Award winner, their highest honor. Find the perfect RV or towable for you and your family with one stop, Seacoast RV. Easy to find, Route 1 in Saco.
Seacoast RV.
I'm Jackson.
Love that laugh at the end. All right, here it is, and you heard it here first.
You heard it first.
Gary Edgar and the Paragon Group have sold the RV and Camping, Boston RV and Camping Expo. Congratulations to Gary and Susan for the many years that they put in. I know we've worked with them for 13 years, and they have sold the show to Superman Productions. Now, you may, in RV Super Shows, you may not know the name, but they did the small shows in New Hampshire and Rhode Island the last couple of years. Rob's father was actually instrumental in starting the Florida Super Show, the Tampa show, many years ago. And at the current time, Rob and his company do 20 RV shows throughout the country. So they understand the RV business. What we don't know at this time, we're in discussions with everybody involved. We don't know what, if any, involvement NERVDA will have in the show. He is certainly an established show promoter, but we will be involved in some way, either with him or with our dealers. So I'm not worried about that. The show is going to have a new name, the New England RV Super Show, and it will be held at the BCEC. And for the next 2 years, it'll be on Martin Luther King weekend, which were the weekends that Gary had secured for the future. And in talking to Rob the other day, he's already sold out on the floor space. Many of our dealers, people like Chad at Pete's RV, Campers Inn, Blue Compass RV, which is no longer a member. They dropped out of NERVDA last year, but those companies deal with Rob on a nationwide basis in many of the other shows, especially here in the Northeast, Pittsburgh and Harrisburg, and many of the ones down south like Myrtle Beach. So it'll be a very, very smooth transition. We'll tell you more about it as we get to know some more details and our activities with them. But congratulations again to Gary Edgar and Susan. You want to add anything to that, John?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
All right. I'm sure we'll get a couple of comments. Tim said he had gone to Booth Bay Brewery this past weekend. Very premium food and beer, and he was up at Shore Hills Campground, I think it is, Tim.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The display of all of our travel trailers while he was up there. So I hope he did well.
That's just down the street.
Yeah.
3 miles.
Tim's got a favorite one out there in the 4-Star Brewery in Northville, a great Harvest Host stop. That's not too far from Tim. Then you could stop and see all of Tim's products out there. So again, back to Walter, where do you really want to go, and what do you want to do while you're out there? But between John and I, and we can get a hold of some of the people in Harvest Host if they got any new ones that they have, and they're changing their program all over a little bit. Let's see. So they're quiet on the front tonight. So I'm going to go up to Massachusetts and Maine in August to visit everybody. And I think we're going to take a trip out to Illinois in the next couple of weeks, Indiana, actually, to see May's sister and her family, and her brother who lives here in Del Webb, Naples also. He's going to be coming with us. So we'll have kind of a mini family reunion there, which is always a great time to do in campgrounds. A lot of the campgrounds have great rally facilities to do that, grab all your friends and get them together. And you might be going out to the Frog Rally, right?
Yeah, that's August 11th.
Yeah, that's
12, 13.
I'll be in Maine then, but we may do we're in discussions with Forest River for John to go out there and do the broadcast from there and cover the Frog Rally. And I'll do it from the house up in Maine and work with that. But I don't think, and I was just invited by RV Business Magazine to attend the RV Aftermarket Association meeting. It's one of the meetings that has, just escaped me for all these years, but it's all the supplier companies, to get together, and the manufacturers can go down and have separate. It's done on the appointment schedule, so you make appointments with different companies to talk about carrying their products or see what the newest products are. Unfortunately, and it's here in Orlando. That is the week that I will be in Maine. So,
it's
yeah.
that right.
So that's,
Two things going on that week.
it's the same week as the Frog Rally. So, yeah, it's a great conference. So they've done well. They RVIA acquired it probably about 8 years now, and has dramatically changed the format, the attendance, and everything about it. So that'll be a good one. So I'll be busy in.
Always nice to go to Orlando in August.
They got a great deal at the Caribe Royale. Years ago, I used to do our document imaging annual service provider meeting there.
Yeah, crazy. Hey,
you men going to the RVDA convention, right? Absolutely. We're not going to miss. That's November. So we're not going to see you until then. I thought you were going to come up north, Mr. Burns. Or
where does Walter live? Does Walter live in Florida?
Huh?
Does he live in Florida?
No, he lives in North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Okay.
I've been neglectful. I promised him I'd set up a meeting with Don and Mark Polk so they can get to know each other a little bit better. And
so Jim said everyone else must be living life beyond the Bob and John show. Well, we're only competing tonight with the Celtics and the Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's
enshrined.
I must admit, I've got the Tom Brady ceremony on my iPad over to the right. So if you see me looking over that way,
is it the stadium filled?
It is, and they did a nice job. They're moving along. He doesn't come on until the very end, but they built a big stage, which is probably the stage they use for the concerts. But in front of it, they got white tablecloth dining. They set up a gorgeous dining area for their special guests and a lot of the, of course, the other members.
And the thing is this:
Hall of Fame.
I said, why would they ever come up with that date? And they said, very simple: 6 championships and number 12. So 6/12, June 12th. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Didn't even cross. You're
Yep.
brilliant, DePietro. I didn't.
Because I said, are you running into the NBA playoffs? They had no choice to do that date, and whether the Celtics were in it or not, the Celtics game is probably till 8:30 or 9, and I think that
it starts at 8:30, and this thing gets over at 9:30. So,
yep. So
plus you only have to watch the last 10 minutes of a basketball game anyway.
Right,
so.
right. Although they've been good this year, they've been.
They're going to win it. They are loaded. All right. He promises he'll be up. Tim says everyone else must be living life beyond the Bob and John show. I think so. We're getting into vacation season. There's no question the attendance has been down the last few weeks. We did toy with it one time saying, should we take the summer off? But we have so much fun. We don't want to do that.
Last week's show, 15,000 views.
Well, I know. So you gotta have that really hot one. But that a lot of those are from sharing the show after the show itself.
Right,
But we had over 1,000 views in less than 24 hours. We had 2,000 views, and a lot of that was the activity right with our own people. Yeah. He's probably more popular than he thought he was in the RV industry.
Well, exactly. Especially when you saw all those people. Oh, well, Chris, we this, that, and then he started crying, and his wife was crying, and then he thought it was a living wake, But it was a great show.
With all our programs, we didn't tell him. We asked him to come on, and he thought it was just going to be one of his regular visits and shooting the bull with the guys, and talking about technical stuff. And we came out the gate like a thoroughbred, and he never caught breath for 60 minutes. So
yeah.
Exactly. If I do say so myself, it was one of our better shows. It was a great show, and the great follow-up for that.
So speaking of events coming up, next Saturday, I'll be in New York City covering the unveiling of the Grand Design first motorized unit. Now, I learned more last night they're not just coming out with a Class C, but they're coming out with a Class B as well, and a Super C. So the first two are, one's on a Ford 450. That's the Super C.
Yeah.
And the regular C is on the Mercedes Sprinter, and the B is on the Ford Transit. So my guess is that the B will be the lowest price of the three based upon what they have to pay for the chassis. But, you know, let's talk a little bit about Grand Design for a second, because, you know, they've been around for 12 years now. Bob, you and I were at that first event when they announced what they were going to do.
Yep.
And they ran out of seats and they ran out of bagels.
Right.
And but they didn't run out of money, because they dropped $550 million into their pocket after just 5 years. And then, you know, then the Feniches, which were co-founders with Don Clark, put another $500 million in their pocket with the boat company. So, you know, we're going to go down into New York and see how they do it. Everybody says, why New York City? Why New York City? Why New York City? And they said, because nobody expected it to be in New York City. And they said, because of the national media that's there. Now, it's a Saturday, so we'll see what happens. But they're doing it right at Bryant Park, which is the park directly behind the New York Library, halfway between Grand Central and Penn Station. And we'll see what happens.
Who'd you talk to? Did you talk to Tommy this week?
No, I talked with Roman Smith.
Oh, the PR guy?
PR guy, yep. So, Grand Winnebago coming.
You know, get some airtime at Fox News, who loves to put RVs on Saturday and Sundays. Did he mention that at all?
No. Who was there? RVIA was there last week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, you know, they're used to...
I sent a note to Diane to see if they might be able to do something there, but they're probably going to be packed. So it should be a great time, and the weather's starting to get good up there, right?
It's perfect weather today. I'm outside right now, and it is just, if it stayed like this all year long, I'd be happy. You know, no humidity, and just perfect day.
Go outside. We've had a very unusual weather condition here in Florida. 12 inches in the last 24 hours. If you've been watching the national TV, there's flooding all over southern Florida, southwest Florida, and our development, which has never flooded, did flood today on several of the roads, and it's not going to stop raining until Thursday night. And, you know, we've been down here 2 years. I can't remember ever having 2 days in a row of solid rain. We don't get that. You know, we get an hour when it is rainy. Their idea of a rainy season is an hour's worth of rain late in the afternoon. The sun comes back out and you don't even know you had it. So it has been torrential. The dog doesn't want to go out. The neighbors don't want to go out.
Well, I think it'd be a good time to get in your car and head over to Seed to Table.
I wanted to go. I did go last week, and I brought 2 new T-shirts of a particular political candidate. And we don't want to get into politics in the show, but they have refreshed and reloaded their collection of political memorabilia, shall we say. So,
well, I wonder if they have any new ones this week with dual prison bars. You know,
you mean the Biden? No, they haven't got any of the Biden ones yet, but they do have a good selection of Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. What else is going on? I have seen lots of motorhomes heading to the Cape this past month on 495. And I'm seeing a surprising number of large Class A units. Have you noticed that down there, Bob, at all?
It's really big down here. The majority of what you see down here is Class A's, and I'll tell you, the luxury motor coach resorts for Class A's in Florida, there's got to be 12 of them. And there's one right here in Naples that rivals some of the very expensive hotels in Naples, with spas and gourmet dining and little houses, casitas they call them. So little houses that you park your $3 million Newell on the concrete pad, not concrete, the stylized brick.
Stone, yeah,
That
bricks.
home is for your guest, and your guests get a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom, and a living area, and it's just off to the side of the motorhome. And those lots in most of those facilities, the lot alone starts at $250,000 just for the lot. But if you got a $3 million bus, it probably doesn't cause you any angst to spend $250,000.
Right.
A nice place to put it.
But at the same time, if you're over 70, why do you want to drive those big units around? I mean, they're a pain to drive. I mean, I drove one last week, a big 38-foot Class A for the Fullers down to the Cape. And I'll tell you, you're driving a Class A, you have to be holding on to that steering wheel. Number one, you're like a big sail, because if there's crosswinds, you've got 38 feet times by 9 or 10. What's that? 400 square feet on each side that can be.
But if you drive a $3 million Newell, it's like flying a 747 at 50,000 feet. You don't feel anything.
I don't have my pilot's license, but you know what? The idiot that will pass you and then cut right in front of you to go off the highway. I mean, that happened a couple of times last Friday.
Yeah, Walter's in tune. Not Trail RV. They're about 40 minutes from me, and they are one of the largest Airstream dealers in the country. But they are, I think they're number 2 in Newmars. And you go by them, and you think about some of our dealers in New England. They don't get into that luxury stuff much, but if you drive by North Star, you will see at least 20 or 25 Newmars starting at $300,000 and going up to $1 million, and that's this stock inventory.
No,
the service facility is the size of many other dealers. So
that North Trail RV, I believe that is right near where Frank Palange has his place.
Yes, it is. Frank is he's one exit up, which is home to probably the largest Camping World store in Florida.
Yeah, and then next to them is a La Mesa that just opened.
Well, that's down there, and then the Frank's resort is right next to Camping World. There's a street next to Camping World that goes back into the woods, and that's where Frank is at. Yeah. And isn't David Major there too?
No, David's down in Fort Myers. He's down the south side of Fort Myers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
About 20 miles apart.
Walter wants to know if we ever stay put. We don't stay put. Number one, nobody can keep up with us, so we have to keep that record going.
I stay put. No.
My idea of staying put is going to a nursing home, and I'm not ready to do that
yet.
Never.
Yeah.
So Tim says, they changed the name of it, Tim. It is now called Camp Winnebago. They changed it. It used to be the Grand National Rally at Winnebago in beautiful downtown Forest.
No, he was talking about the Class C, the Grand Design. So he's calling it the Grand Winnebago. I don't think he's talking about the event.
I think he's talking about Camp Winnebago, the Winnebago Rally out in Forest.
Ask him. I think he's talking about Grand Design. He changed the word. He combined Grand Design and because it's a Winnebago subsidiary. Let's ask him. What were you thinking of?
That Tim
Rally?
Is it
Tim,
me?
Tell us you're thinking of the Rally, or you're just playing on the words.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting that Grand Design being owned by Winnebago, but they're all treated as independent companies. They don't mix anything engineering or purchasing or anything like that.
Well,
so they can do what they want to do. And Don Clark has said for years he wants to be in the motorhome business, and he's going to do it.
And that thing there, the lineage.
The lineage,
is going to go directly after the View in the Navion.
Oh, is that right?
A little bit lower because there's not a lot of lower exterior storage to it from the pictures I was able to see.
The View and the Navion have gotten really pricey. I mean, they're getting up close to $200,000.
No. They're $220,000, $230,000 now.
Oh my God!
They're well over that. But see, the thing is this: that particular product, and I know it pretty well because I've got one. I've got the third year. They come out with 2006, and one more model year, and they'll have 20 years of the same unit, which is unheard of in this industry.
Right, going 20
Unheard of
years.
to build the same unit for 20 years in a row.
Yeah.
Charles Butler, you are correct. The idiots that rush in front of you and slow down and pull off. The Class A's with tag axles drive much better. Newmar Comfort Drive is a dream to drive. Charles, do you have one of those Newmars? Or what do you drive? But
late comment there from Tim. Yes, Christopher Doherty is a premium human. He certainly is. That's for sure. Anybody else up there doing anything? Let's see. Did we miss anybody? Boom, boom, boom. I think
we're up to date.
I think
So
you are up to date. Yeah.
So
if you're not going on long vacations, who's taking extended weekends and doing it, the short 2 or 3 days? You don't have to go far, go up to Spacious Skies up in Minuteman. Great campground, one of the top ones in the Spacious Skies, especially if you're out in Western Mass or you live up in Vermont or New Hampshire and you want to tour Boston. Spacious Skies is ideally located on Route 495, and you can take public transportation into Boston, so you don't have to fight the Boston traffic, and you come home at night and sleep under the stars in a nice wooded lot. All right, Charlie does have a Newmar Dutch Star 43 feet. I'm 74. Still love driving it. Good for you, Charlie. Yep. Absolutely. A great company. And, from assuming you probably had it for a while or you've been with Newmar for a while, have you noticed any difference in the management of the company? We don't see a difference with Newmar. We don't see a difference with Grand Design, and Winnebago does their thing. But as an owner, when you go up to the factory or to the beautiful customer service location, have you noticed anything different there? And Maria is a little bit late tonight.
All right, Maria. As long as you're here, we appreciate it. You know what?
She did remember. It wasn't in her first sentence, but her second sentence, she did apologize. Thank you.
And we say it every time, but we always say it like when we're rushing off. But tonight we got a little bit of time to say it. We do not take your presence on Wednesday night for granted. We know you've got a lot of things to do, a lot of options out there, especially in the good weather. And the fact that you stick with us and stay loyal fans, we are very appreciative. So we consider your presence a present to us.
That's right.
That needs to be said.
She's
at Turning Stone. Maria.
Vernon, New York? Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I know about Turning Stone is you can still smoke in there. And if you don't smoke and you come out, the smoke, your clothes stink. Maria, are you able to park right in the parking lot now? They don't make you move down to the other part near the highway. They did it one time. And,
well, you check and see, Maria, if the Verona Steakhouse is up there. It's only about 15 minutes away from the campground, and it's a great steakhouse, but I haven't been there for 30 years, so it could have changed hands 22 times. But it
could have burned down 20 years ago too.
It was very well established, but the Verona Steakhouse. Charlie says
Winmar. Winnebago. Oh yeah, look at that. That's funny.
Winmar. So these guys are crafty tonight. Tim is Grand Winnebago, and Charlie was Winmar. Obviously, a discussion for a different night. All right, Charlie. Thank you for that.
Maria, you're at the Turning Stone campground just down the street. Just down the street, there's one, a big campground, really nice campground.
Well, didn't you say? Oh, so she's either staying at where are you staying at the casino, or are you at Turning Stone?
No, she says we're at right above it. We're at the campground, and we drove our truck over.
Oh,
so she's at the casino now, but she's sleeping tonight at the campground, from what I can see. Yeah. We did Italian tonight, Pinot Bianco.
Pinot Bianco. Okay, I'm not familiar with that. Is that in the casino? Is that one of the restaurants in the casino, Maria? And coming back to Massachusetts tomorrow. So then you'll be back in Massachusetts for the summer. So your summer is here. That's great. Gotta run. Good to see you all. Oh, Mark and Julie. Yeah, we got to get them back on to talk about. They just issued a report on their cost of RVing on their last trip, and it's very detailed, kind of lengthy. So Julie, we'll get you back on to go over that report. Well, partially, my daughter and her family are all moving to Florida at the end of the month. What part of Florida, Maria? I'll tell you, there are so many people moving into Florida. It is insane.
She's been on a 10,000-mile trip, Maria. How long has she been on the road? 2 months, 3 months?
I suspect for the winter and maybe the fall, the winter, and the spring.
You're going to be closer. They're going to be in Winter Garden. So there's Winter Haven and Winter Garden.
Winter Haven's closer to me. I think Winter Garden's
only 6 weeks, 10,000 miles. Maria, that's a hell of a lot of driving.
6 weeks?
10,000 miles.
10,000 miles?
Because back and forth to Florida is only 3,000.
That's like 1,500 miles a week.
That's a lot of miles.
That's crazy.
LOL. Not from. Are you running from the law? Do you have overdue tax bills, or
you just drive from one casino to the other and then to the next casino, or how could you do 10,000 miles in 6 weeks? Now, that's interesting because if you do that many miles, what percentage of your stays were in Harvest Host versus campgrounds? Because it must have been just hitting them up one night at a time, I would think. From Florida all the way to Jassy. What the hell's Jassy? Got any idea, John?
I don't know, unless it's Vegas. I don't know. We stayed at different places. We were in Vegas. We were in Louisiana. We were more so on the way back. We were in a few of them, like longer, like in Jasper. Oh, national parks. Okay.
So that was out west. So they went all the way down to Florida. They went west out there, and they did 10,000 in 6 weeks.
Yep.
Maria, did you ever hear the phrase "stop and smell the roses"? You must have run over the roses.
They might have been cutting the roses, which was a violation in a national park, and that's why they've been running.
Maria, if you want, let's have you on some night and talk about your travels and your secrets. If you can do that, maybe do you drive like 12, 14 hours in a row, switch off on the driving? I just can't imagine doing 10,000. I don't think I'd want to, but
we'll have her on, but it won't be tonight because we're already out of time.
Yeah,
in Florida, then with the South Carolina, Louisiana, Texas, Sedona. Wow, that's cool. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Bob, got that commercial ready to hit?
I do, and we will catch up to you down the road. Boom, boom, boom.
Thank you for joining.
Wrong one. Where'd he go? There it is.
Hey, it's Joe from 1019 POR and John, Joe, and Courtney. We're back for another exciting season of Seacoast RV TV. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter W.
As in Winnebago. Did you know that Seacoast RV is once again the award winner of the Flying W Award, which recognizes Winnebago dealer locations that deliver the highest service excellence and superior customer satisfaction? Don't mean to brag, but we're kind of a big deal. Speaking of Winnebagos, how about the Winnebago Access? Come on inside and take a look around. Modern and spacious interior, easier camp setup with all the deluxe features and an outstanding value? You get it all with the Winnebago Access. You know, with so many different models to choose from, though, it can get so scary and confusing. I feel like I need some help.
Hi, I'm Amanda. Welcome to Seacoast RV. How can I help you today?
Selection, service center, and a huge parts and accessory department. No wonder Seacoast RV is once again Winnebago's Flying W Award winner, their highest honor. Find the perfect RV or towable for you and your family with one stop. Seacoast RV. Easy to find. Route 1 in Saco.
Seacoast RV.
I'm Jackson.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.